around about the time where you and I met too. You didn't know this, but like I was actually homeless, going through like the cycle of everything that I went through. It was really bad, bro, and like I really went to a dark space. Shrooms did save my life, and I do definitely see the impact on it with the music and with the career for sure. To the point where I have my own grow box in my home now.
Really?
Yeah, it's not active yet, but it sounds crazy when I say it out loud, but I want to be bigger than Drake. I want to do that, and that's why I sit and I try to develop the way that I do. I know I'm meant to make music. However it shows out and comes about and that be my life, I've known since like the day I can remember of knowing that I've been meant to create music.
Yo, welcome back to the Heatin podcast, the hottest podcast in the game. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe button, follow, rate, all that good stuff. But again, thank you for tuning in to another episode. We got a good guest episode for you guys because our guest today is a Philly turned AZ rapper. He just dropped his new album, Private Thoughts 3, and there is a ton of vibes on this album. New music video out. He's one of the hottest coming up. Just got signed to another management company. The best out of Otta Empire, and I could go on and on. We got the boy Fahwill.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's going on, bro?
What's going on, team? Thank you for having me on.
Of course, bro. Our pleasure. Thank you for coming on, man. It's always funny because, again, like, we've known each other for two-ish years, I believe. Yeah. And it's funny the way we met because, again, like, I never knew you. You never knew me 2 years ago. It was during COVID. We just met at local gym, bro. Right. Just hooping.
Right.
And it's funny, like, to see like 2 years ago where you were and where I was and 2 years now, it's just funny to see it because I remember you were talking about it. You said you were a rapper. And I was like, oh, cool. And you know how that sounds. Like initially you're like, okay, like, everybody's a rapper, right? Yeah. But you showed me your music. I saw it. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. This guy actually has something here. And then ever since then, bro, like I've been fucking with your music for two plus years now. And the place you've gone from in 2 years is nuts. And we'll talk about it. But, bro, how do you feel, man? You just dropped your Private Thoughts 3, like, I think, third overall album?
Yeah.
Couple EPs.
Couple EPs, yeah. It's the second overall album. Yeah.
But how do you feel about this one now that you dropped?
Honestly, bro, I feel really good about it. It's been a blessing, and I feel really I don't know, bro. Like, I feel like it's been received really well. I feel like the audience has been like kind of shocked that I put something like this together, you know, so I'm happy and I'm blessed and I'm excited.
Bro, I mean, like compared to your other albums, it was a little different like this time around because like you were rapper fall. And this one you played around a little bit. Like it was more like, okay, vibes, singy songy, showing a little different versatility. And honestly, this album was probably my personal favorite. Like,
thank you.
Like I really liked what you. That's crazy.
No way.
Always because you look. It's all good. The fan on.
Okay,
hey,
that makes sense.
Hot Chicken, we love y'all. We still got all the product here anyway.
Yes. Shout out to Houston Hot Chicken.
Anyway, what you decide to do? Why'd you decide to go for like a different style of album? Like, what made you go away from the rap strictly and go to this vibe?
If I can be honest with you, bro, some of the things I've been experiencing in life these last couple of years. And the way that like my life has always been, I've always liked music. I tell everybody all the time that if I could be a singer, I probably would have been a singer, you know? And I feel like I kind of got lost in the looking for a club hit, trying to make that, and not like purposely, like you get into that role and then you locked into the studio and then you look up and it's a year or two later, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're just doing stuff that you love. So the change just came about like where I'm at in life right now, the type of music that I genuinely like. I'm doing, you know, different things in life now too, you know, so some of the things that I want to talk about and put out into the world just needs to be delivered a little bit differently. Yeah.
You taking your time on this album because I remember you pushed it back a couple times, right? Yeah. Like, if I'm not mistaken, what was the pushback for? Like, did you feel like as an artist it wasn't ready to come out? How does that whole process work? Like, the mind of making an album, like, how does that work? Because you did push it back a couple times.
Yeah, so I was watching, I think I was watching a Method Man podcast where Method Man talk about one of his creations and things like that. And he's like, as an artist, we're like painters, right? It's like we have a blank canvas and it's like, where do we start? So creating this album, I wanted to start with something completely blank, maybe something that, you know, my audience isn't used to hearing from me or something like that. and just different thoughts. Like I said, I've been doing different stuff in life. Man, I've been tripping, right? Like literally, bro. Like literally, like I've gone through some things that we'll talk about a little bit more in this episode. But I've been going through some sort of therapy per se that showed me some different things and taught me different things, and it really opened up the colors of the world to me.
And like, you as an artist now, do you see, again, you just dropped it, you're stuck kind of just bathing in the success right now, but like, are you already thinking about your next album? Are you already thinking about where you go from here? Or are you kind of just living in the moment right now and enjoying what you've done?
It's a little bit of both, right? Before this album was even all the way together or anything like that, I was thinking about concepts for the next one, thinking about concepts for, you know, what's come next. It's sort of like fashion, you know what I mean? Whatever season we're in is cool and what we like, but behind the scenes, they're already working on, you know, fall of next year or whatever the correct term is. You know, so that's sort of like where that started and where that came from.
And you just recently, let's talk about, you just got picked up by a new management company, if I'm not mistaken, Entourage.
Shout out to Entourage. Shout out to Austin.
How did that come about? Because is that, and I honestly, I don't know the way management companies work. Like, you reach out to them, do they reach out to you? I'm not quite sure. So like, how did that even come about? So
there's a couple of different ways that it does work from the day and age that we're in now, right? But this one was a purely genuine one. They found me. After we had our first meeting, I actually asked them, I was like, how y'all find me? Like, and they were like, you know, we have folks, and it was like somebody within the industry had sent them my page. And they thought my content was pretty good. They thought the music was pretty good, and they just reached out to see if we could have some sort of mutual relationship.
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah,
and you've been hustling, bro. Like, I've seen, again, for the past 2 years, we've been following each other. I've been supporting you, and you've been hustling, bro. Like, you work, and like, I see that. And again, like, slow motion is still motion, and you've gone from 2 years from now. You've gone from that place to here now. Is it where you thought you were going to be? Did you think you were going to be a little farther, or are you happy with where you're at and see like the trajectory moving up?
I think a lot of us see ourselves being somewhere different, rather if you are artists or not, right? If you have high aspirations, you have high aspirations. So am I at where I thought I would be? No. But can I say I'm upset and I'm sitting here with you 2 years later and I see what all that y'all got going on, all that I got going on? No, bro. I got goosebumps like sitting right here, bro.
Yeah.
I'm happy because it shows me that I'm surrounding myself with people that are on the right path, the right track. And it shows me that, you know, that like maybe I am where I need to be. You know what I mean? And can't be upset about it, right? Like y'all sitting here interviewing me about my project and saying how good it is, and you know, people hit me up all the time and like now and tell me like how my project impacts their life. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
that's gotta be crazy.
So it's like, do I want to hit goals? Yeah, I want to hit goals. I want to be somewhere, but I'm happy where I'm at.
And then again, like, I remember, I think I just got a memory about it. Last year, you made your first music video, Established. Okay, and you invited me.
I invited you to,
and that was fun. And
that was what I was just, bro. You know, he invited me to it. He was like, "Hey, bro, like, what are you doing tonight? I'm my friend. You know, he's making a music video. You want to come with me and do it?" I was like, "Wait, that actually sounds like kind of cool." I was like, "When?" He's like, "Oh, it's like later tonight." I was like, "Oh, damn. You know, I got school the next day and everything." And I seen
you were supposed to come.
I don't even remember the.
I think you were supposed
because
to.
I was,
yeah.
But I don't even remember the reason why I didn't.
Bro.
I don't know. It might have been. But I saw you posted on your story when you guys were making the video and everything. He was sending me snaps. I was like, bro, why did I not go to this, bro? Like, I was so upset.
I think the craziest part is, like, again, you see all these music videos on YouTube and shit like that. This is the first music video I've ever been to, bro. So I'm like, let's see.
This is the first music video I shot.
So, like, I'm going to this, and I'm like, I have no clue what to expect. I'm going alone. I only know Fa. I don't know anyone else there. I'm like, let's see how this goes, right?
That's a gangster move, by the way.
I was low key.
Bro, he texted me, hey, bro, like, I really wish you was here, man. I don't know nobody except for Fa.
I was like, he's working right now. Like, I can't really. But no, bro.
Who do I talk to?
The experience was sick. It's crazy how much goes behind the scenes, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you really don't think it's that much. We were there for probably 4 or 5 hours of just pure shooting. And the amount of times you hear the track back and back and back, bro, I walked out of there making a music video of the same song, bro. Like, it was stuck in my head. By the way, Established is still one of my favorite songs. That shit is so fire, bro. But yeah, man, it was cool to like be there and do that. Compared to that first music video, the reason I'm bringing it up is because you just dropped another one for Hex, one of the new songs on your album. And looking at the levels, like your first one was great, but that one was progressed. Like, bro, it was like a mini movie. So I'm like, are you feeling the differences? Cause like it's like you're seeing. Cause sometimes I look back at the stuff we do and I don't realize like how far you progress, and I feel like you could get lost in it because you're working so much. But it's like, bro, like your new music video was sick.
Thank you.
Like,
bro.
do you see the growth? Like your entire quality of like production and music and videos, all of it is up. Like, are you feeling that? Are you seeing that? Is that something you focus on?
Bro. Yeah, bro. Like that's something that I focus on heavy, honestly. And you do get lost in it. You know what I mean? Like you like, I want to do better. I want to be better. You do get lost in it. But that's something that I think like I'm just now starting to feel like a lot of people are telling me like, oh, production and quality and wow. And you know, the things that I was dropping before were things that I was hoping to have like hit that quality standard. And like, and, you know, one day I'm going to look back at Hex. We're going to look back at Hex and all the stuff that we're doing now and be like, wow, like you like production is crazy now. We thought that was, you know what I mean? Yeah. So like, it's just all about like elevation and growth. But like, I am feeling that a little bit now and I am thankful about it, but I do keep my eye on like that next thing. You know what I mean? Like, how can we, like, how can this be better? Like,
and you've been pretty solo dolo, like for most of it, as far as I know. But like, are you starting to find a little bit of a team? Because I see you mentioning and shouting out a lot more people, and I'm like, oh, this boy's building up a crew now.
Shout out to Troy.
Are you building people out, or were they here just like to do the thing and they're kind of going? You're kind of solo still.
So how can I put this? Everybody that you see in my immediate team that you see me like posting or anything like that, I've basically known them since I was a child. And they haven't always been in the position to be able to like know how to like help me or how to move things along, you know what I mean? But I've known everybody for a long time. Troy Johnson that's tagged in my post. Shout out to Troy Johnson. Without him, I wouldn't be able to do a lot of the stuff that I've been doing so far. So shout out to you, Troy. Thank you. But yeah, like my brother BSP that you might see me post to other artists that I work with. Everybody has been a part of my like life since I was like a child, just about.
He was in Sport, right? The song Sport.
Yeah,
that song is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
By the way, I forget. I'm thinking about the tracks on the first album. Private Thoughts. That the whole collection like is.
That's actually Private Thoughts too.
That one's Private Thoughts too.
Mm-hmm. That's Private Thoughts
it is. That one again. Where was Private Thoughts 1 was an EP, wasn't it?
Private Thoughts 1 was more of a Nah, it was more of a. It was 10. It was actually the longest one. It's actually the longest project that I have, but nobody really know about it. I dropped it when I was in college. It was on the archaic site called Dat Piff, you know what I mean? Oh. And it's not on there anymore, you know, and things like that. Yeah. So I have it in the tuck and things like that, but nobody ever really heard it.
And what's the reason you only your albums? There's not a ton of songs, so I'm like waiting. All right, album's about to drop, and I see only like 8 tracks. I'm like, why is there not more songs on the albums?
I just think it's attention span. Like attention span is the biggest thing, right? Like I'm not a huge artist yet, right? So if I drop something that's 21 tracks, 14 tracks, immediately you're gonna look at it and be like, you know what I mean? Like just
that's a really smart move, honestly. Especially when you're thinking about your audience, you want to know like what attracts them the most, what's gonna keep them from listening and everything. But
especially and just growing from that like. Through 8 tracks, I mean, bro, all of them are good. But like hearing one, it's like, oh wait, whoa, now I want more music because I just heard about this guy and stuff like that. And how's the reception been like overall? Like, have you seen like the love from it here? I saw you were being played in Vegas. You were being played in these other places. Like
that was before the album came out.
Really?
That was Because I Can. The track,
bro, okay, and that song is so good because that was the first.
Thank you, bro.
That was like your really vibey song. I played it at the pool. Remember, I was literally like, bro, that shit was so fire.
You sent me
that was really good. So like, are you on this new wave of vibes? Like, let's talk a little bit more about it. Your sound has gotten a little bit different. You're not a rapper right now, and I'm not mad at it because I fuck with Fahwill vibes.
Right,
Thank you. What made, again, you were talking about personal stuff you're going through right now. I don't know if you want to open up too much about it, but like, what's been going on? Because it is a creative process when you're an artist. I don't know personally, but I can imagine there's a lot of creativity that goes into it. The headspace has to be right or not. And then that's the music you make. how did this one come about, and like what happens behind the scenes that creates the music you actually make?
Okay, so everything that I write is based off of like my life, right? What I've gone through, what I'm going through, and what I'm potentially trying to go through, right? It's no secret that within like last year around this time, I lost my little sister and I lost my mom, and my uncle as well, which caused me to have to be back in like the Philadelphia region for probably the longest amount of time that I've been back there consistently, outside of like living in New York when I moved back to New York for a little bit. During that time, I met a lot of my family members that I've never met in my life, bro. Like first cousins, because I'm actually adopted by my aunt on my dad's side, and meeting them, I met a lot of them, and just like seeing like how they are in life, like, you know, growing up in Philadelphia, like whether they're like, you know, in poverty or not, you know what I mean? Just the mental aspect of it. Fast forward a little bit, I got to spend a lot of time with my nieces and my nephews, and and then one of the dinners they asked me, like my nieces, they said, Uncle Fahim, how rich are you? I'm like, little girl, what?
Go back to your room, bro.
Little girl, how rich am I? Like, man. But I was like, that's interesting. And then my nephew Josiah, he's a little bit older, and he always like just say like, Fahim, like Uncle Fahim, you're famous. Like you're famous. And like at first I was like, yeah, like yeah, like
yeah.
And then I come home and I sit down and I watch Established video, right? Like, and I'm not disappointed in it, right? But I'm listening to Established, and then they call me and they're singing Established, and I'm like, okay,
yeah,
like I'm like, okay, cool, and I'm like, there's nothing wrong with it, but if I'm gonna be an example, like if I'm starting to become an example for my nieces and my nephews, that means I might become an example for the younger generation and people in general, right? So how do you be able to touch people just through sound, through music, right? And everybody's not receptive to, you know, hardcore rap or regular rap, and you know, like I've been wanting to bridge out a little bit, so I've been feeling like, you know, that was really the thing that was like, let's really open this sound up and like let's really see what we can do.
And bro, I think it was a good move. Again, like you were a good rapper, but the vibe portion of it, because you're not a bad singer, by the way. Like I don't know,
Really?
I don't think you're a bad singer.
Hey, bro.
Because bro, there are bad singers. Like objectively, you're like bad singers.
All right, yeah. Chill out.
But like, I think you caught a good sound, and like I'm curious to see like your next album. Are you planning to try something else, or does it really just depend? Like you don't really know. Like your next album is just gonna be like the way you're feeling. Like
it's really that, bro. And like again, on the back end, on like, you know, the development side, you put it together a certain type of way and you make it nice. But like when you're really in it and developing like a album top to bottom, it's like, okay, like this is where we at. And then like the next album might come and it's like some artists try to chase that last sound. Some artists like to let life, influence them a bit in their sounds. And you know, everybody got their process. So do I think my next project will sound like Private Thoughts 3? No, I hope it don't. But do I hope it sound as good or better? Of course. Like, and that's always the goal.
Yeah. And again, like you're moving up, bro. Like every single album, every single song gets better and better and better. And that's the way it should be. And you know, not a lot of artists do. Sometimes like they'll go down after a minimum. Like,
yeah.
So I think you're doing well. I'm curious to ask you this, and you don't have to answer, you know, it's a little more personal, but like I was looking at rappers like Travis Scott and A$AP Rocky. They've been very vocal about like psychedelic drugs. Okay. And like how that plays into their creative process. And I've always wondered, I'm like, I personally don't do drugs, so I don't know the way like psychedelics would work with me. And I'd say I'm a relatively creative person. I'm like, what if I took a little something real quick? Have you ever tried doing that? Because I do know artists do try certain things, and it like increases their creativity at certain times. Is that something you may have thought about or have done? And have you seen actual results come from using psychedelic drugs in your creative process? Good. Roll the next one. So yeah, But again, like, what are your thoughts on it overall? Like, do you think, can you see maybe like how it can play a part? Like, is that something that?
No, absolutely, bro. Like, but that's why I said I was tripping earlier, because I'm like, I don't know how I want to say this, because this is the first time I'm being asked this in a public standpoint. But absolutely, bro. Psychedelics, natural psychedelics, definitely enhance, and they definitely sway the artistic mind in the artistic ways. So for sure, bro. Definitely something that unlocks new levels if you know how to. Yeah.
Don't do drugs. But like, yeah,
don't do
again,
drugs.
like
Don't do drugs.
I feel like there is a method to the madness, because there are a lot of popular artists that do like preach certain stuff like that. So it's just interesting to see, especially like, again, because like the way you change your sound, I was curious if I'm like, is there something?
Nah, bro, I'll be open with it, bro. Like, that's what I was alluding to earlier when we was talking earlier. The shroom therapy, bro. Like, because losing my mom, around about the time like where you and I met too, like you didn't know this, but like I was actually like homeless, you know what I mean? And going through like the cycle of everything that I went through like for about the last 2.5 years, it was really bad, bro. And like I really went to a dark space. And an old friend of mine out here introduced me to psychedelics, and I was still on the fence about it. And I did a lot of research on my own, a lot of research on my own. And because that's a big part, you know, and understanding what I'm getting myself into, sort of, per se. And I do attest that shrooms did save my life. I do think they saved my life for sure. And I do definitely see like the impact on it with the music and with the career for sure. Like, to the point where like I have my own grow box in my home now.
No way.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not active yet, but
working on it. Growth is in every avenue. So is it something you? I mean, of course, you don't have to talk about it if you don't feel like it. But is that something you still like actively partake in every now and then? Like
every now and then.
Like, are you in a better place mentally?
Yeah, definitely in a better place mentally, and I feel like now that I'm in a better place mentally, I'll be able. I can enjoy like my times a little bit more. I'm not more so cleansing. I'm more so enjoying life and things like that. At those points, and I think it's really beneficial, and I think that's why even like, as they call us, Western medicine. I think that's why even like us Westerners are moving more towards that type, and like and I'm curious to see where it goes.
Yeah.
No, and honestly, to be honest with you, I think like for the past, what was it, like a year and a half that I've been following you, I've seen like you posting on your story like just motivating stuff, like get up, get that work in, like get in the gym, and I was like, all right, okay, like I saw your like mentality kind of like lifted up a little bit, you were talking a lot of positivity and stuff like that, which I really like seeing, especially seeing like people local here,
Yeah.
But
it I don't want to credit that to that though, you know what I mean? It does definitely help, and it plays a part, but also understand that like mindset is mindset, you know what I mean? And if you're in a negative mindset, then like it's going to intensify that. If you're already in a positive mindset and you're trying to be a little bit more positive and work on that, then it'll do that too. But I don't know if you know or not, but like I've kind of always been like that, bro. Like, and it's just that helped me be a little bit more outward with it, a little bit more again. Like,
it's something that's great. Like, let's talk about mindset a little bit. I remember you used to be. Well, I don't remember personally, but I've seen you've been heavily overweight at one point in time, like heavily. And bro, you're jacked now, like you're low key ripped. So like, how does that? And again, we had our whole body positivity episode and shit like that with you, because you had a crazy transformation too. But how does that play into it? And what, like, were you an artist at the time? Like, did your music correlate with how you felt and the way your body was? Like, did anything like that? How did that whole thing start? And how did you even get out of that rut with being so overweight and the way you look now?
Yeah, bro. Definitely, bro. Like, confidence is everything, right? So like with me just being like overweight, not happy with myself, it's just what it accumulates to, right? I'm not happy with myself, so my music didn't sound happy. It sounded like, a type of way or anything like, or something like that. But like creativity wise and things like that, I don't necessarily think that it like messes with everybody, you know what I mean? Because like I think sometimes like certain type of like insecurities inside of you could bring out like a different type of artistry, which is like pretty cool. And like I think that was Biggie Smalls like thing, you know what I mean? He was a different looking person, you know what I mean? And I think he kind of used that to like his advantage a little bit. So like
yeah. And from where you are now, and again, I know like, you know, you never see yourself where you're supposed to be or like where you thought you were going to be, but like where do you think you're going to be in the next 3 years? Like this is probably, would you say this is the most support or growth you've had out of all your music ventures? Yeah. And it shows. And again, it's the highest quality work I think you've produced, and it has been amazing. Where do you see yourself in 3 years? Are we going another album? Do we see a label company? Do we see you doing other things, acting? Or, hey, that music video, bro. Come on now.
Bro.
Yeah, do you see yourself venturing out? Where do you see yourself in 3 years?
Making great music and making great content, and involved in a couple of, you know, probably a new business venture of some sort. I'm really getting into film, so I want to look into potentially investing into like film in some type of way. But the main thing is just, you know, music, creating great music. And it sounds crazy when I say it out loud, but I want to be bigger than Drake. Like I want to do that, and that's why like I sit and I try to develop the way that I do.
And I think you have to have that mindset, because again, like people will hear that and be like, all right, bro, this dude's crazy. But like you have to be crazy, like otherwise, like what are you doing it for? Like, and some people, if you want to settle, that's great, but like pushing yourself,
and like to be able to achieve crazy things, you got to think crazy, you know? Like,
you got, bro, being a dreamer, like it's crazy until something happens,
bro.
right?
Let me tell you like this, right? I used to sit in my home with like no food, no electricity, no heat and stuff like that, right? And I used to be like, I'm gonna be a millionaire. Like, didn't know how to do it, you know what I mean? Far from it still. But now I look up and I'm like, I randomly moved to Arizona. I lost a lot of weight. I met people that I didn't know from a can of paint that are becoming like genuine folk in my life. I'm on a podcast, you know what I mean? People out here physically know my music that don't know me per se, you know what I mean? To me, it's like looking back, it was like 7-year-old me with nothing. You know, it's like how you gonna do that if I would have said I'm gonna do the things that I'm doing now?
Yeah.
So by me saying, I want to be bigger than Drake, or I want to be this, or I want to do that, like sound crazy. It sounds super crazy, yeah. But when you know you got that ammo, and when you be able to see where you came from and not even like scratch the surface yet, is like the scary fun part.
And like you talk about being like the biggest, but how do you stay consistent? How do you stay focused and motivated when you're not seeing the results you're expecting out of something? Because like we'll have something and I edit everything and I'm like, bro, I think this one's gonna do great. I'm excited to put this one out. Dead. I'm like, fuck, bro, what am I missing? What am I doing wrong? And then you look at other people, and that's the hardest part, comparing yourself to other people. How do you stay motivated through it all when you're like, I'm gonna be bigger than Drake, but then you're seeing certain stuff and it's like, why is this not hitting?
The first thing you do is, I know people say this, but in a way, never compare yourself to anybody, right? Because that's the first setup for failure. The second part is knowing your craft, right? Product knowledge. I feel like product knowledge is the biggest thing, right? Like, if you go into it and you say, okay, cool, like I'm learning my analytics, like I'm learning what people like, don't like from me. I'm learning how to do my drops better, or whatever it is, right? That gives you a little bit more motivation and a little bit more confidence to go in there, because like, I don't know, like if you went and shot Interstellar or whatever your favorite movie is, right? If you went and you created that and you knew it was whatever, you knew it was great, you would never ever question what, like, is this good? Is this whatever? Like, will this be good enough to make it? Can I make it? Like, you'll never question that. You just be like, oh, people just got to get their hands on the product. You know what I mean? And that's sort of where I lie at. You know what I mean? I feel like that's where a lot of people should lie at. As long as you're doing your homework, you keep growing and elevating, like, and it's tangible, right? You should be able to see it, like how you say, like, bro, your production from here to here, oh my God, like it's a tangible thing, right? So if I'm able to keep doing that, and if I'm able to see those type of like results, then I just like, oh, people just gotta get this, and then, you know what I mean, that keeps me motivated.
And have you ever got to a point where you were like, you know what, bro, I'm done. I put in too much time. I've worked too hard. I'm done. This isn't. Yeah.
Hell yeah, absolutely, bro. It's hard, bro. Like, it's a mental strain when you're doing stuff, and people are just being people. You know what I mean? like.
And what's kept you like so disciplined with it though? Like, I mean, people can have motivation and stuff, but discipline is that thing that's like, it's that mental thing that just keeps you going, you know? Because motivation can come back and forth, but like discipline stays.
This is gonna sound crazy. It's gonna sound insane. But ever since I was a child, I literally had this calling that, like, bro, you're meant to make music. And like, again, like in this realistic moment, like, that's not saying that like the calling has been like, hey, bro, you meant to make music and you gonna be, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I know I'm meant to make music. Like, so rather that be however it shows out and comes about, like, and that be my life, I've known since like the day I can remember of knowing that I've been meant to create music. So
was there like an artist who inspired you when you were a kid, or?
No, I mean, like, I grew up on the East Coast, right? So like, you know, we like Biggie, we love Michael Jackson and things like that. I can't remember who it was off the top of my head, and I'm probably gonna get crucified in the comments.
Don't worry, we have none.
But I just remember being a child in the car, like probably like 3 years old, and hearing Sippin On Sizzurp. Sippin On Sizzurp. Like, I just remember hearing that shit, like, just being like probably 3 or 4 years old, and like, and I remember one day, like, it went off, like, you know, like you shut the car off, and and the song goes off, and I'm walking in the house, and I'm like, Sippin On Sizzurp, and like my aunt, I call her mom, that raised me, she turned around and she smacked the shit out.
Wasn't she the one playing the music in the car?
Yeah, right, bro. Like,
it's like, I don't even know what it is.
Like, she did her point. She was like, you don't even know what you're talking about, yada yada yada. Like, I didn't know I was talking about sipping on some weed. But yeah, bro. Like, just like, that was like the thing that made me like be like, I can. And then like the sounds ever since then never stopped in my head.
Yeah, man, I don't know. Like, I just feel like the way did you East Coast, Meek Mill? Mm-hmm. I thought I heard something that like you grew up around him.
Yeah,
I don't know why. What? I think that I
knew
remember
that was gonna come.
Is that true?
Yeah,
that's true.
I don't know why that's in my memory, bro. But I just remember that just now we were bringing up the artist. Meek Mill, growing up with Meek Mill, like what?
Not like we lived in the same house or nothing like that. But you know, I'm blessed to have people take me in over my life. You know, I am a less fortunate child. Like, you know what I mean? I was adopted and things like that. My aunt adopted me, and I had an opportunity from when I was like 5 years old to meet a family, and in which still to this day, like, we are family, and they're first cousins and first family members with them, and like he lived in their home, and just growing up and just being able to be around them at times and certain times, like if yeah.
And then you growing up, like from where you were adopted, you've moved a couple states, you said you were homeless. Like, what's been the hardest part of your life, would you say? Because you've been through hardship, you could hear it, but what's been the hardest part of your life?
The next move, per se. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, it's not just me anymore, you know what I mean? Thank God. But it's still mainly just me. So the next move is always the hardest point, right? Like, I work, you know what I mean? Like, I have a job. I have like a pretty high level job too, you know? And it's always like, when is like, when are they gonna like hit each other? Because it's happened before, and that's really my thing. Like the next move is pretty much always like the hardest part. Stability is easy, not easy, but stability is like pretty much
it's attainable.
Yeah,
for sure.
But it's the hardest part is just like that next thing.
Do you plan to stay in Arizona?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it here, bro.
Let's go.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. More interviews.
I love it here, bro. Y'all the second people to ask me that this week. Maybe that means something about to happen. Like,
yeah,
you
next
never know.
week he's like, yeah, actually moved back to New York or something.
My production company that shot Hex, they asked me too. They was like, "Are you planning on leaving soon?" They just asked me that like this week too.
Damn.
Shit. All right.
So imagine just like a random label like, hey, you have to move out here, but we're gonna sign you. Just all signed, but. Man, I mean, your life sounds crazy, bro. Like the way your mindset was, but compared to like the way you lived, like you wouldn't think someone would have such a sure mind. Like you knew from a young age, I'm gonna be this, I'm gonna be this. But you went through that hardship, even through a struggle. What was being homeless like? Like at that time, because how old were you? When you said when we met, you were a little bit homeless at the time, right? What was that like? Like how do you even get out of something like that?
Discipline.
Yeah.
It was an interesting time in my life. It was very eye-opening, and it was very there was a lot of lessons learned from that time. But discipline is really the thing with anything, bro. But yeah, bro, it just taught me to trust myself.
What can you say was the most important lesson you learned from it?
From being homeless? I don't know, bro. Like discipline, it was so many lessons in one that when I look back at it, I just like thank God that like I built up the discipline in myself, not to just snap, bro. You know what I mean? Like that's the easiest part, like to just snap.
Would you say you're a pretty religious person, or?
I feel like I'm getting back to religious. I'm a baptized Catholic. And I feel like I'm getting a little back to religious. I'm more spiritual per se. I feel like we hear that a lot, but I feel like I'm moving a little bit more back to a little bit more religious.
Would you say like God's been helping you?
It's only been him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
It's interesting because like when you go through downs, it's so hard to believe in him because he's like, why would this? Why? Like, what is the purpose of this? If you're real, why am I going through all of this? But then you see success, or then you see this, and you're like, okay,
he had a plan
maybe
for me.
this was it, this was that. Because like, I don't know, man. I think God is like, I don't want to get religious or anything like that, but like you brought it up, bro. I just think everything happens for a reason. I really do.
Bro.
Like, and we've never been through the struggle you've been through like that, but it's like there are certain times because it's all perspective, right? Like someone's hardship might not be hard to someone else, so it's like it's good to see because someone would have went through what you went through and not been here today, not been in that seat, not been making music, not having a label or having a management company. So it's cool to see you get it out, especially because, bro, everyone loves a good comeback story. Yeah. And it's like nobody knows what you went through, but I like that, you open up a little bit, and I hope we didn't pry too much about it. Yeah, no. But like,
we could talk, bro. I'm gonna be transparent, bro. I know I said I wasn't, but I've been waiting for y'all, bro. Like I've been waiting for y'all. I've been waiting to talk to y'all, like especially like because of like how our relationship has like bonded, like. Respectfully, like you ain't have none of this when we met, you know what I mean? And I don't even know.
No, seriously.
I don't even know if this was a thought, So
not a single bit.
I was having a conversation last night, and I was like, man, how cool is that? That like, cause I don't extend my hand to a lot of people, even like just like the conversations that we had. I don't do that a lot, and I was like, how cool is it that I did that? And not only that, like you support and genuinely like the music, but like now you build a platform and like you know what I mean? I just think that's really cool.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's funny. Like when we did meet, bro, this was not at the time, and it's embarrassing. It's not even embarrassing to say, but like at the time, it was only basketball. Like I was like, I'm gonna walk on to college, and I'm gonna do this and that, and that was my only thought, bro. Yeah. I had no other plan.
Bro, I remember you always used to tell me he would plan it out and everything, especially when you first like started college and I helped him move in and everything. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna like try to walk on to the basketball team, try out, see what's going on, and then. I remember it's just like it didn't work out, it didn't work out. But now that I look back at it, thinking back with everything we have now, I'm kind of glad it didn't work out because I enjoy doing this with him, especially since we've grown up for.
This is my little cousin.
Yeah. Okay.
So we've
grown up together for I think like 10 plus years, something like that. Yeah. And I'm honestly glad football didn't work out for me either, because I enjoy doing this. Yeah. You know, like,
and that's why like I really do believe like everything happens for a reason, because like during COVID was a weird time. Well, let's talk about like your COVID experience too. But COVID was a weird time for me because like I went from high school, like basketball was great. Like I was a good player. I had some offers to go, but I had a full academic scholarship to college. So I'm like, I can't turn that down. Mm-hmm. So I'll walk on. COVID hits, everything shuts down, and I felt like purposeless. Like I literally felt like the only thing I cared about was basketball. I was great at school, but I hate school. I just don't like school. So I felt like purposeless, and I would try so many different things while trying to walk on to basketball. I tried doing a YouTube channel, vlogging, random stuff. Didn't work. I tried COVID. I made music.
Really?
Dog, I'm not you. I cannot do this.
Hold on. When did you do this?
We want to hear that. We want to
bro, that's in the archives.
Why did I not hear about
this,
bro?
In the archives, bro. Deep. But like, I felt so lost in COVID because I'm like, I feel like I'm just going through life and I'm just going to be like burnt out and just have this same job, same life, same routine. And again, that could work for people and that's great, but I just don't think I'm that type of person.
Yeah.
And so this podcast and things not working out, like, bro, I love this. Like, whatever the numbers, whatever the views, whatever the like reception, I truly do love doing this. And because I get to sit down with people like you,
I can tell,
talk about the story. And then like, I've just always loved talking. So what was your COVID experience like? Because again, it was a depressing time for a lot of people. And you did go through that hardship with, you know, your sister, your mother passing, which I'm sorry to hear about, of course.
That wasn't during COVID. That was like just,
a little after.
That was last year. Like,
that was last year.
Last year, yeah.
What was your COVID experience like?
I hate to talk about COVID experiences because like I sound away when I say it, but outside of like people passing away and stuff like that, because you know I think we all lost a couple people. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I lost a couple cousins and things like that. Mm-hmm. But outside of that, like COVID was a really interesting, fun time in life.
Yeah.
Like, and
it had its ups.
Like probably like I want to say like in Arizona, probably, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I just thought it was cool, like going to the stores and like when like everything chilled out, it was like nobody really in the stores, nobody really on the roads. You know what I mean?
Yeah, everyone was sitting inside.
Gas was low.
Like. Yeah, like yeah.
It was like 250 something like that, bro.
Maybe,
oh my
God.
And I just got really into like running during COVID because I had just came out of like the losing weight thing and you know doing all the weightlifting and all of that. You know what I mean? So it was like kind of interesting to see how workout would shift, like how my workouts would shift. So I just like dove in and started diving into running and became like a runner and started falling in love with running like during COVID and start learning about stock training and options trading and stuff like that, and lost a bunch of money doing that and
as most people do.
Yeah, bro, and just locked in on the music a little bit more, and that's when I dropped Collection of Vibes during that time, which is called
literally
COV.
I think it might have been maybe a week before, or like it was very close to the time I met you. I can't remember if it was a little bit after or a little bit before.
I think it was a little bit after, yeah.
A little bit, because I remember when we first met and I checked out your music, I was like, oh, okay, couple of songs. You didn't actually have that many at the time. And then you dropped that and I was like, wait a minute, this guy's really good. Like, and nobody knows about you. But now, like, again,
it's still the same. No, it's still the same way. People really, like, I feel like people sleeping on me, per se. Like, man, I know half of that is my fault. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not the type of person, like, I don't really play the Arizona scene no more.
Yeah.
I don't really focus on, like, going out and doing all of that.
Yeah.
I recognize that, like, since the town that we in, I want to go out a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I want to, like, meet people and mingle in that way. But I'm also, like, I'm a genuine person, you know what I mean? That ain't really, you know what I'm saying? Like, that ain't really what I do. Yeah. So like, I don't know how that happened. So yeah, bro. So yeah.
This is overall, yeah. But man, again, it's great to see the growth you've had, bro. Like, I really, because I think the way I try to support local as much as I can. With you is a little different because I actually genuinely fucked with your music.
Yeah.
But like I do try to support local because I'm like, why are we making like certain people super famous, but like these people that we know, why can't they be the ones too? Like I never understood that, because there's so much room to eat. Everyone, like, bro, when you do something like this, a creativity like this, and you're not up, people will be so nice to your face behind your back. They're like, bro, this dude's goofy. Like, look at what he's doing. This is trash. This is garbage. But the minute you make it, oh man,
we've been here the whole time.
Oh man, the club been here. Remember what? It is wild. Like, why do you think that is? Why do you think people can't show love when you're small and building, but the minute you make it, people hop on that train? Why can't people show love to the local?
One, I think, is oversaturation, right? Like, everybody wants trying to do something. Another,
bro, like, podcasting is one of the most oversaturated things. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but look at like how you guys are setting yourself apart. Like, you know what I mean? Just on that point. But I think it's oversaturation, one. Also, two, from the artist standpoint, if there was a lot of good music out here, it'd be like, oh, music is just good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's how it'd be. But the fact that a lot of artists don't even put half of, I don't want to say half the energy, I don't want to say nothing like that, but like a lot of artists don't put in a lot of energy into like their music. They just think it's simple. And then you have simple-minded artists that make it, right? So now when that trickled down to the smaller levels and the smaller, like, you know what I mean, local level per se, you got people that might have like a inkling that like, I can do that. You know what I mean? Like, what's the big deal about, you know what I mean? And then they look at it and it's like, nah, I'm not. But once it get there, then you know you got that money attachment too. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want money. Oh, of course. Like, so you got that, and then it's like, oh, you got the money, and like, oh, I've been here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've been watching you. Yeah. Like, so I think that's where that comes from.
Yeah.
And I think the one reason also, they don't realize the kind of work you put into things like this. Like, people, we get comments all the time on like YouTube, everything like that. Oh my God, everyone wants to make a podcast.
Let's start a podcast.
Let's start, quote unquote, let's start a podcast. Look at these goofies. But like, if they realize the kind of work that we put into this podcast, he edits everything like that, they'd be like, I can't really do this. You know, like they think it's easy, but it's just the consistency that we've had. That's I think consistency is the hardest part, and it's one of the most crucial parts. Like, just being there and doing it so often. Like, bro, it's a numbers game too. Like, yeah, the ones you think are good, maybe they should hit, but they don't. Bro, the ones you think are bad, they hit. And you're like, well, what the fuck? You just got to keep putting stuff out there.
Bro, it has nothing to do with us, honestly. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just our job as creatives, and I consider y'all creatives. It's just our job as creatives to create. You know what I mean? And do a great job of creating, and then letting the people decide, like, you know what I mean? Like, what is and what's not. Like,
yeah. And again, there's enough like room for everybody to eat, bro. Like, it's not such a small. I don't understand why some people don't build together.
I don't think.
You don't agree with that?
No, for sure. I agree with that. I don't think people understand that. Like, I don't think they really truly understand that. Money does not come from thin air, right? So when I make this statement, I don't want people to be like, what are you talking about? But music, entertainment, especially now in the streaming area and things, in the streaming era, is one of those type of like lanes that you can almost create money out of thin air. You know what I mean? No matter who you are, what you are. And like, it's not really taken from another thing, or it's not taken from the bucket. Like, it's just making the bucket bigger. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that there is a lot of room for everyone, and I think once people start to realize that, then it's going to be like, okay, but it get tougher. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so
of course, but again, man, you've built an incredible thing. The last 2 years I've known you, you've been working behind the scenes. Like, I've seen the work you put into this, and dude, I can't wait for the next project and the next one, and to see what you do like 2 more years from now, 5 years from now. Like, I don't see like the trajectory is only like up. So I'm excited to see you build, bro. Again, I really do appreciate you coming out. That's all I had, to be honest with you. But man, Private Thoughts 3 is out now. Go stream it, check it out. If you don't know Fahwill, you will once you listen to that album. So yeah, man, you got any last words before we head out?
I just really want to say I appreciate y'all for having me on. I got y'all back no matter what. If y'all ever need anything, let me know. Everybody that's watching this, these two here are the real deal. I'm not gonna give away some of their tips and tricks or anything like that they do while they're working. But if you ever want to learn anything about podcasting and things like that, I'm gonna go ahead and say that these two have impressed me the same way that Matty Ice has impressed me, the way that he runs his shows and the way that he does a lot of things too. So big kudos to you guys, and I appreciate y'all for having me on.
Appreciate
Thank
that,
you.
bro.
We really
Big shout out
appreciate
Maddie,
you.
bro. We love Maddie. But hey, man, we're going to wrap it up. But again, check out Fahwill. All his links are in the description below. Go check it out. Support local. His music will be up. And remember, bigger than Drake.
We taking local to global, you know what I mean? Like, and OVO, if you want to come, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Give him a little deal.
Come on now. But
I
hey,
appreciate y'all, man.
of course, man. Leave a like, subscribe, and we will see you guys in the next episode. We love y'all. The Heatin Up Podcast is out.
Bow, bow.